Hey, what's going on out there, YouTube? This is SEL0320 back at it again for a brand new movie review. Believe it or not, this is the first time ever I've been able to actually, well, not the first time, but this is one of the first times as far as like a major movie that I've actually been able to get the privilege of being able to watch a little bit early, and I definitely wanted to give y'all a review of it because there's a lot to this movie than meets the eye. The name of the movie is 23 Blasts. It's being directed actually by Dylan Baker. Dylan Baker, most people will know him from Spider-Man 1 and Spider-Man 2 from the Sam Raimi series. He's played in movies all around the board. I mean, so many different TV shows, but he's an amazing actor. I mean, one of the things that I thought about this was the fact that this is directed by him, produced by him, and then the team that actually he's working with, which encompasses Bram Hoover and I think Tony Hoover. Bram is actually starring in the role as well as Dylan is actually starring in the role as well. And so it's really a tight-knit kind of like production team, and so really interesting. I thought about that. But what I'm gonna give you right now is a synopsis of the movie. So the synopsis reads: when a high school football star is suddenly stricken with an irreversible total blindness, he must decide whether to live a safe handicapped life or bravely return to the life once new and the sport that he still loves. So off the gate, when I was looking at it, I was looking at the trailer for it, and I was like, wait, okay, this happens. But how is this gonna actually go and draw me in? You know, I've seen Remember the Titans. I remember like Jerry and what's his name? I forgot. Left side, wrong side, strike side, left side. And I was like, I love the camaraderie of that. And like something happened to one of them, car accident, and he's blind, can never walk again. And it's really hard to watch and stuff like that. But I mean, I was like, this has been done before. Well, this movie truly surprised me, surprisingly. But I'm gonna go through and give y'all, I guess, how I normally would do it. So as far as the production value, as far as the music for this, I really love the cinematography for this. The team that's doing this is called Touchdown Productions, LLC. I haven't seen too many of their movies with this, but this is really one that was really tight. And I hadn't seen too many previews up until just recently for it, but the cinematography is actually really well done. I mean, most TV shows now that are out, such as like Gotham or Arrow, you can tell those are some seriously captured as far as the cinematography. It's done really well. It's really richness and it's really vigor, and you can tell like when a movie that's straight on TV versus a movie that's actually on the theater. But now it's like the lines you can't go back in between. Like there's so many TV shows now that they are on their game as far as how it actually looks. And this one, I kind of felt that same kind of feel as far as the cinematography. Like when there's scenes where you had the football teams kind of playing, I was like, man, this is a Smallville kind of feel, or you know. And so even then, when there were real subtle scenes, like when the main character Travis is kind of like the beginning of this actual movie, it starts off where you got like the little kids and then Pee Wee, and you got the coach. The coach is played by Stephen Ferris, and like he's talking about like kind of going to another league, but he meets these two little boys named Jerry and Travis, and like one of them was like, well, can you throw? Can you catch? And like you can see the dynamics of that, but it was just a small, really close-knit like scene, but they capture it really well to show like as soon as when they actually do the clap, it transitions into their relationship and where they've grown from this point. And you can kind of tell certain nudges with it as far as the production value that this is captured very well. One of the things about it also is there's a lot of heartfelt moments in this. One of the things I loved about the cinematography for this is I want to say probably like two different key scenes, which I can't talk about right now because I haven't got to that yet. But there was a scene that was a dream of Travis's, and he has like a revelational epiphany about what is happening to him, the fact that he's blind and how is he supposed to get through this, and he's lost really his faith. I didn't know this movie was a faith-based film. I know that movies like God's Not Dead or Son of God, there is very blatantly shown. Even the last football movie that Jim Caviezel starred in, it kind of had like those kind of undertones, but this one, it was really subtly done in a way that I didn't expect. And this scene encompasses that because when Travis was thinking and stuff like that, he was kind of brought blindsided, and it's just so well done. I really love the scene. There's another scene with Travis where he's he's going blind for the first time, and he's in the operating table, and I think that he was outside, like he was on the field, and what he was doing, he was like about to receive a catch from his old friend Jerry, the little version of himself, and he was trying to catch it while he was still in his gown, and it kept on going higher and higher. He realized he couldn't reach it, and it was so interesting the fact that he would actually visually audibly see it, not knowing that soon he's about to lose his sight. And such a rich scene. I really love how they did it. There are certain moments where I was like, okay, this kind of doesn't feel like a major movie that could be in theaters necessarily, certain scenes, but for the most part I really loved each scene that was actually in it. But the big thing about this was I love the music. I love the richness of the music, because when the actually songs were actually being played, I listened to some, and I noticed, what was it, one artist that I noticed was, I think, Sean McDonald. A couple other ones that kind of came up, I was like, they're so fit the mood of this scene. And one of the things I said about Left Behind, if y'all looked at the review for that, is that I did not sink in with the music. Like when the music flows with the course of the scene, especially with a football movie or any kind of sports related movie, there has to be a great contrast of orchestrated score with real dramatic scenes, and then also like the upbeatness of like when you're actually going to working out, you want to play the music that's kind of gets you pumped. And this one, I was rooting for Travis, because I mean, he just loses his sight, and you don't know how he's gonna make it to what we see in the trailers, to the point where it's like right now he's like, I can't even walk, and he's going through all this depression, and he doesn't know how to accurately go and figure out what he needs to do with the rest of his life. And it's just so accurately done through the score and through the cinematography. I really loved it. I really liked the cinematography for this, and I really loved the music for it. I'd probably give the cinematography maybe 8 out of 10, and the music, I just really liked it. I'd probably say I'd give that an 8 out of 10 as well. I really liked how they actually blended cinematography with a great mode of great scores and great music. So I'll go into the actors. So you got Mark Hapka as playing Travis, the role of Travis. You got Bram Hoover that's playing the role of Jerry, the best friend, that is the quarterback technically. Travis is more so the wide receiver. And then you've got Cameron, that is offensive lineman, played by Max Alder. I think Max has actually played in a couple of things. I think that the last one I saw was with the Lecrae film, Believe Me. He was in that. Notable mentions. I didn't expect to be in this kind of movie. One, of course, was the coach, which was, I was like, Stephen Ferris? The dude from Avatar? Like, seriously? Or Terra? I mean, dude is a G. Like, I mean, he's normally the worst kind of bad guy, especially, I mean, even like movies like Tombstone. I've gone all the way back far from that. But he does such an amazing job with this film. Like, he has a real heart. And I mean, normally it's kind of like his anger kind of come out. There's certain nudges to it, but as a coach, he really values and appreciates these two young men, and even like his team. Like he puts them and everyone else above what he's trying to do, and he knows what's kind of best for each one of them individually, which is really good. But when it comes to the relationship with Mark Hopper and Bram Hoover, like they connect in such a way that it's believable. In the sense that you got the one guy that's always a popular one, everybody likes and loves, but then he's like an overexerter, so he has so much stress and pressures. And then you got the other one that's the opposite side of that, but's got all this talent, and he just kind of keeps himself introverted, but at the same time portrays like he's a jerk, you know. And that's his friend Jerry that nobody really kind of likes, but knows he has all this potential inside of him. And they work together great as a team. When they were on the field as a team, like you could like, okay, he's got this. Like, they were untouchable. But when Travis goes to the situation he does, that's when I feel like Mark Hopka and Bram Hoover excelled. Because with Mark, he's brought through this kind of turmoil and anguish, and like you just kind of feel for him in so many different levels. And I thought it was going to be really campish. I thought it was going to be like, because I saw the trailers and I was like, he was kind of looking, but he had the eye movements on key. I mean, when he came out of the emergency room and came out of the surgery, I was like, oh wow, this is just heart-wrenching because like he is scared, he's frightened, he doesn't want anybody to be around him, he's exposed. And I mean, he's the type of person that excels in everything. Imagine everything ripped away from you. Like, this is kind of how you're gonna do it. But the thing about this is that the pacing for the movie is done really well. When you see the progression of what Travis has to go through, like in like trying to take subtle steps and trying to use the cane, and the other side of that, which is him like dealing with his dramatic modes and how he interacts with everybody, like especially his mom and his dad. And like I said, Dylan Baker is playing his dad, and his mom, she is just so interesting because she wants to be so much like a mom, and she really loves him. But there's a point where Travis, he just loses his faith, and I think he takes his cross and he rips it off and throws it away. She keeps it for safe storm, but she realizes that her son is just dealing with so much, and she doesn't want him to have pain. And any good mother would do that, you know. But what really kind of comes out is when his training movement motivator comes in, and she's like not cutting him any slack at all, and she brings him out of his shell because like he's got to the point that he just closed himself into everything, but you never see what he's really emoting or really feeling. He doesn't want to be any more vulnerable than he is. And the thing that I thought was so awesome was that Bram Hoover's character that plays Jerry, like I realized that before the accident happened that Jerry was dealing with a lot of other things on a mental level that you didn't see behind the scenes. And the reason why they clicked so well is because that Travis was the only one that could really articulate to him what needed to take place. Because when they were apart, the first game, like what was happening was that Travis was trying to navigate through the room of the emergency room and falling and hurting himself, and then Jerry was just doing terrible on the field. He couldn't call plays, and you realize that there's something more to what was going on with Jerry that you didn't see. And the fact that he loses his friend, in the first place he goes and gets his friend, and he goes and breaks him out, and they go and just have a muck, and it's just so many awesome scenes with them together, really heartfelt scenes, and it's brought to a breaking point because all the truths that these characters have been kind of holding in comes out in such a beautiful way. But yeah, it was really well acted. I mean, I don't know who was the better one. I think that this is more so geared towards Travis or Mark's performance. But if Bram was not there, it wouldn't be as significant, especially the last portion of the movie. It's just so well done. The other thing that I'll say is, like I said, I was kind of going into it, but notable persons that was also in it, besides Steven, is I would say Alexia Vega as Ashley. She plays that role so well. I was like, this is the girl that I remember from Spy Kids. This is the girl that's the innocent one, not just in Machete Kills or Machete. I was like, she plays such an awesome tomboy, wholesome friend that has a real love for him. And you can tell in her performance, like, she's still a good actress, you know? And I mean, just the sincerity out of her need to be able to help Travis, it's just output. It's so needed, you know? There was a scene, I think, when Travis gets the opportunity to be able to be a part of the team, which I'm not going to spoil how or what way, because that's the bulk of this whole entire film. And she's helping him, practicing with him. It was so many cute scenes. Like, anybody that's like a girl out there, or anybody that loves romantic scenes, or it's a hopeless romantic, you will love their chemistry together. Like, Mark and Alexia, they have really great chemistry in the way that they vibe off each other, and it's so natural and it's so awesome that she looks past what's going on with him as far as his eyesight, or even the fact that he's like this jock. Like, she just knows him sincerely, and I think she was in one of the flashback scenes in the beginning of the movie anyway. But nah, she does a great job. I loved her character in this. One of the other ones was Mr. Duncan, that's played by Timothy Busfield. He plays in, if any of y'all remember The First Kid, starring Sinbad, he plays the bad guy that ends up like trying to take the kid, stuff like that. He is an interesting character in this. He is kind of the antagonist, but he's not. Like, he's he's just like out there, and in the sense that he's always trying to project certain things onto Travis and trying to like pull Jerry down. It's like he's literally just the person there to try to make their lives a little bit miserable. But I think that they could have done more with it, as far as what he could have been potentially doing. I'm not sure if maybe another actor would have worked, but I think that for the role that he was given, he did a good job with it. I just don't know, like when it came to Cameron's dad and then Mr. Duncan, I felt like their roles were really just kind of stupid in the sense that, like, why are they just kind of like doing this just to be doing it? At a certain point, it just gets kind of annoying. Like, okay, y'all get the program. There is something that needs to change within the ranks of this team. It's bigger than just your ideals of what needs to take place. And I'm not sure if they're trying to depict it from where the location of where this is all being shot or the community there. But I was like, that's the one thing I kind of didn't like as far as Mr. Duncan and Cameron's dad. But going and moving on, like I really like the acting in this, and I mean, like I said, they kept it really tight knit. Like they have actors that are producers and writers. I mean, the person that plays Jerry is one of the writers, one of the main writers. Him and I think his brother. And then you got the dad that's played by Dylan Baker, and like he's not given enough as far as like the acting. I think it's more so geared towards the mom, but it's done really subtly and very well, and it's really heartfelt. But yeah, I really like the acting in this. I'd have to probably give the acting, I guess, a 7.5 or 8 out of 10. I give it a 7.5 because, like I said, I really would have liked to have more brought to the table as far as Cameron's dad or Duncan. Maybe more of a dramatic kind of turn or twist in a darker sense. But I mean, at the core of this is a geared movie towards motivation against the odds. And one of the things that towards the end of the movie, there was a Bible verse that kind of came up, 2 Corinthians 5:7, and it's we live by faith and not by sight. And in the sense of this movie, that categorizes this movie on a deeper level because Travis had no sight, but yet he does some of the most amazing things that you would not expect for somebody to be able to do. And this is all based on the true story. They showed the actual persons that kind of went through this and how they got to this point as far as with their teamwork and the relationship between Travis and Jerry, how that elevated everyone and brought them out of the shell. And at the same time, like, this is the progression of, as far as the storyline is concerned, I did not expect the movie to kind of move into the end of it how it was. I thought that after Travis had his accident and after Jerry I was like, okay, Jerry's gonna get it and he's gonna just do what he's got to do. That wasn't the case. They still, even towards the very end of the movie, they had to have each other. They needed each other to fulfill their true destinies and the calling to be able to be the leaders that they're meant to be, even from the young age. And they both said, like, these have the makings of football legends, you know. And it's just so well done that I really thought it was a really beautiful story. I mean, I would definitely have loved to like see a little bit even more from just these characters, because I mean they were just presented in such a way that was a all-around package. Like they had the heart, they had the laughs, the chemistry, and the cinematography was very well done in the sense that I was like, this is not too campish that I can't enjoy it, you know. And so I'm definitely gonna encourage other people to go and see this movie. I really liked it. So a story, I'd give the story a 7.5 out of 10. I actually really liked it. I was surprised how much I really did like it. I have so many notes of this that I want to kind of go into, but I'm not going to leave any spoilers here. All I can say is that definitely look out for the surgery and operating scenes. Definitely look out for when Travis finds out that he can't see for the first time, when the team finds out, and then towards the very end of the movie, like there's so many different relationships that are just groomed from one thing that happens and a new person that's added to the team after what happened to Travis, and it's just so well done. I really enjoyed it. So hopefully y'all enjoyed my review for 23 Blast. 23 Blast is significant in the movie, so pay attention to it. But definitely, if you have any kind of comments or anything you want to ask me about it, please leave your comments in the comment section below. If you like this review, please leave a like below. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. Also, if y'all want me to go through a spoiler-filled review, then I will be glad to do that, possibly next week. And I'll go through everything that I have taken so many notes on, because I really did enjoy this movie, and I'd really like to go more deeper into it with y'all. So yeah, YouTube family, movie pilot family, y'all have a blessed night. Have a great evening, great day. This is SCL 0320 signing out. Later, everybody. Deuces.